So I'm going to ask a question, and I want you to be honest with me. How are you today? You know, about a week now, I have not been good personally. I am emotionally, mentally, and spiritually drained. In this story that came out yesterday, the 15th of September, this add on to it. And you know how sometimes that you get so tired and you're so exhausted that you get to the point of you just get kind of mad. And not mad in the sense that you want to go hurt somebody, but mad in the sense that this is still the reality of the world that you live in. And unfortunately, people will not accept that this is strictly and primarily a cause of the political climate that we're in right now. People feel a lot more comfortable expressing themselves, expressing hate speech, and accepting it and making excuses for it. Because deep down, that's how they feel. And they are probably tired because they don't have to pretend anymore. They're tired because they pretended for years up until this current administration. So whenever I see this story of Trey Reed, when I see this story from Trey Reed, it speaks to me because I'm from the South. And I won't say Mississippi as a state in a whole is horrible, because there are plenty of black people. There are some good things to do there, right? But as a Southern Florida man, Mississippi worries me more than Alabama or Georgia. Keep that in mind. I remember back when I was married, I told my wife, be careful driving through Mississippi by herself. She had to go there because she had like an acting thing going on at the time, my ex-wife. And whenever she would drive from Florida to Mississippi, I will always be on the phone with her. Well, the majority of the time, I'll be on the phone with her because I was worried. And the reason I didn't go with her is because somebody had to stay back and watch the kids. So there's that. So whenever I hear this story about Trey Reed, a young 21-year-old black man that is lynched from a tree, and that's exactly what it was, I'm not surprised, but I'm just tired. And people act like we have not seen, when it comes to young black males or black people in general, they will make excuses and cover up things to make it seem like it's not what it really was. Let's not forget, it was maybe a year ago, they found a whole bunch of passed away dead bodies behind a Mississippi prison, if I remember correctly. Anyways, let's go ahead and get to the story. That was just me talking, a little rambling. I hope everybody's doing good. And if you're not doing good, that's okay. It's okay to admit you're not doing okay. I am not doing okay. But I will be okay. I will continue to persevere and push forward, because that's what we have to do.
Forget all the Charlie Kirk situation right now. Let's go down to Mississippi. The name Trayvon Reed needs to ring all over the United States right now.
I apologize for that, by the way, because I didn't realize. Anyways, user error, completely my fault. But this is his cousin pretty much telling the story on TikTok. This is how I first heard about it.
That is my cousin. 2, this is the second incident that has occurred within the last 5 years at this campus. Delta State University has had a run-in with me and their policemen. They tried to lock me up for no reason, and it didn't succeed in their favor. I went on a 9-month probation, and that's it. This year, just today, it was reported that my cousin was found hanging from a tree, and they trying to rule it as a suicide. Now, I just got off the phone with one of my cousins. She said she seen the reports, and it said that he was beaten and bruised. Both his arms was broken, and he had a broken leg. I'm I'm gonna let y'all do the math. Now, this school has history for being racist. Even going all the way back to the 1980 situation that happened with the sit-in. I love to refer to that situation because that was one of the significant situations that happened with one of the black revolts that happened at the school. But still, I'm trying to be composed in this video, and I'm trying to keep it all together. But it's a lot of shit that happens on that campus that don't nobody do shit about.
Excuse me.
It was incidents before my incidents. My big incident happened and that I reported that nobody did nothing about. Somebody tried to report me for a hate crime, and they was the one being homophobic, transphobic, and being racist. And they was trying to lock me up until I had multiple people come out and speak against him. There was an incident that I reported that it was a group of white students in a white truck while I was a freshman. They yelled at me and my friends and called us a bunch of monkeys. Please do a deep dive on this. Please, 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 please do your research on this. Do not let them sweep nothing else under the rug. Enough is enough. It is 2025 and bullshit after bullshit after bullshit is still getting fed to us. Enough is enough. We gotta wrap it up.
You know, it takes a lot for a grown man to get on the internet and cry for their family member. And that's what really spoke to me. There was no reports that I've seen out so far yet, so I really can't go over like a coroner's report or anything of that nature. But from what I heard, they were saying that he had his legs broken and an arm broken, but somehow he was still able to take his own life. They're ruling it as a suicide. Let's continue.
Now, I'm not a detective, and I'm not speaking from an emotional state. Well, I'm speaking from a thinking state. So after talking to some of my family members and seeing a lot of stuff on the news, or not on the news, on social media and what's being said, I decided to come up with my own little plot and what possibly, or what the potential cause of all of this could be. Number one is, I feel like the obvious one is hate crime. One, people are saying that he was found with bruises, broken arms, broken limbs. Now, I'm not confirming none of that until somebody else confirms that. Two, it is known that black people are not going to kill themselves like that because of the historical context. Like what? Three, because I had to pop y'all up. As a person that was on that campus, I decided to map out something, a visual, just so I can show y'all. Me and him basically stayed in the same dormitory. This is our dorm. This is a dorm. This is a dorm. This is the cafeteria. This is a dorm. This is a dorm. This is the tennis court. This is the spot, allegedly. We just gonna say allegedly where he was at, because we don't know directly. Right? Okay. There's a tree behind this dorm. There's a tree. Look at the light. There's a tree over here. There's a tree on the side of this dorm. There's trees all around the cafeteria. Why would you go all the way over here? That's a mighty long walk if you know where it's at on the campus. Right? This is a blind spot. There's no cameras right here. At least when I was going on a campus, there was no cameras right here. So if that is a blind spot, anything can happen right there. Two, Delta State has a lot of blind spots. When that incident of me getting locked up with the police, I had video evidence. They said they had video evidence, but I still haven't seen their video evidence. And then the spot where it happened, it was in front of the police department. Where the angle it was at, there was no camera right there. It wasn't. But just so after the incident, they installed the new camera. So what I am trying to say is, look deeper into what they are saying. That is a fucking blind spot. If they say that got cameras, tell them to release the footage. We need footage. We need footage. All this he say, she say ain't gonna work no more. Stop trying to sweep it under the rug. Again, prayers for his family. And justice for Trey Reed. I'm gonna keep saying that. Justice for Trey Reed.
So what I went ahead and did here, I pulled up the Delta State University map. And based off the little diagram that he drew, I had initially thought that the places that he was staying at was around right here. And this is the Young's Cafeteria right here, Area 54. So Dorn, Cafeteria. But I'm having trouble finding the tennis court, but when I go here, tennis court is 52. Okay. So Dorn, Cafeteria. What's 51? That's the best Lancet Residential Hall. No, I couldn't say that for a second. And then I remember they said he was found outside the governor's dormitory, which I think is Governor's Hall, which is 53. So, okay. So tennis court, Governor's Hall over here. So it's somewhere around here. So this based off this diagram that I found off their website, Delta State EDU, I would think there would be some type of cameras around there, right? It's a university. Universities normally have funding for these kind of things. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm out of touch. It's been a while, but and this is starting to get on larger news too. Don Lemon made a commentary about that. Let me play that real quick too.
A 21-year-old student was found hanging from a tree in Cleveland, Mississippi. It's at a university called Delta State University in Cleveland. They found him early in the morning, about 7 o'clock, hanging from a tree. They're saying at this point there's no foul play, but folks are calling for investigations. And I think they need to get to the bottom. This guy's name is DeMar Travion Trey Reed. He's from Grenada, Mississippi. Everyone they spoke to said he was a great guy, lit up a room. And so why was he hanging from a tree? What happened? That's what we need to know, whether it's foul play or not. This story deserves to be investigated and told, and we'll stay on top of it.
And, oh wow, my camera got really blurry. I didn't realize it. I wonder, can I... All right, there we go. Guess that got that fixed. So that's pretty much the story right there. It's just a frustration thing for me more than anything else, because I won't say that black people cannot commit suicide, but it's a very unlikely thing that we would do. Not only from a pride aspect, but from a lot of religious aspects too. You don't really see too many black people that's offing themselves. Now, again, mental health is a really big thing, and people are saying that he was a very happy young man. And unfortunately, sometimes when people are happy, that could be a really good indicator they're ready to leave the world. It's like sometimes they may have found the answer to the problem that they were having. And I'm not saying that's the case for him, right? I would never say that. But I will say is that, in fact, I still remember the story. His name was Antonio. Was it Antonio Jackson, I want to say? No, it wasn't Antonio Jackson. Was it? What was his name? Okay, there we go. Kendrick Johnson. That's who it was. I still remember Kendrick Johnson and the details of that and how they discovered he was missing organs and the suspicious nature of how he passed. And It didn't make any sense. So, and there was a whole rabbit hole with that when it comes down to who they suspected and believed that may have taken his life. His father was an FBI agent, and now he's living his best life while Mr. Johnson is gone from this world. So, do I believe they would sit here and do something like that and have it covered up? Absolutely. Whenever you're part of a small town, the good old boy system is very strong there. It can range from the police officers, the detectives, to the coroner, to everyone. They can paint whatever narrative they want to. If they're all connected friends and grew up together, they want to protect somebody, even that a person does not deserve protecting. So I much rather believe the family when they say that he had broken arms and a potential leg compared to people who will benefit from that not being the case. Because with tensions how they are right now, especially after Charlie Kirk's passing and the threats that were called in to the HBCU campuses the day right after, and the declaring of civil war and all this other kind of stuff people were doing, which they faced no penalties for, by the way. I am more inclined to believe that something nefarious happened to him, and they're more willing to try to cover it up instead of telling the truth. So, and if you want to stop watching this point, you can. This is just me just talking at this point. Okay. Sorry about that. Whenever I get kind of emotional when it comes to stories, I don't always do the best with navigating myself on these things. It is what it is, though. Let's see here. I was reading through some of the news articles I saw earlier. I don't think it was this one. At approximately 7:05 a.m., University Police was notified of what appeared to be a body of a black male hanging from a tree. Central Campus near the DSU pickleball court, said Delta University Chief of Police Michael Peeler. We later identified the male subject to be Trey Reed of Grenda, Mississippi. And as you scroll down, he did kind of address the whole entire broken limbs thing. I saw no broken limbs, he said. He declined to elaborate further, stating that the case was still under investigation. I don't think I should probably discuss this any further than that. My opinion is that it was self-done, and I have reasons for that. I'm very curious to know what these reasons are, and I'm also very curious to go over the coroner's report when it comes out. Because the one thing I've noticed, and another example of this, if you haven't watched my Kanika Jenkins video, the police came out with a statement earlier this year, or excuse me, not really a statement. They came out with a written confession from another person that gave details of what happened. However, though, if you go over the coroner's report, it doesn't match the confession in any way, shape, or form. So I'm kind of curious to read that so I can see. And you got to understand that Kanika Jenkins case got international attention. So they had every single reason to try to help cover that up. But we're still talking about her, right? Just like we're going to keep talking about Mr. Reed also. And this really worries me because I'm a man of a daughter that's about to go to college herself. And the way the state of the world is, I am so terrified. A part of me is very terrified to send her to a college that I won't be able to protect her at. And that's the thing I'm struggling with right now, because people have so much hate in them, and they're looking for any reasons to hate and discriminate against somebody and justify it as okay. Whether it's jealousy, envy, insecurities, it's just, I don't know. But let's go to the cousin's TikTok page. That's it. That's what it is right there. Please go. These are the two videos I played before, and then there's this. So I don't
Update on the Trey situation. So basically, they're trying to say that there was no foul play. He did it to himself. But I'm trying to sit here and figure out, and I did research. I even got on ChatGPT, and ChatGPT wouldn't give me a direct answer, so I asked for a short answer. Can you just do that to yourself from a tree? And the short answer was no. So, take that how you want it. 2, they saying they're not saying anything about the body and stuff until after the autopsy, and they're still investigating, but they're trying to say there's no foul play. If there's no foul play, you should be able to tell right then and there. 2, why are you speaking now? It feels like you're doing this for a PR stunt to try to go ahead and cover it up ahead of time. I pray that this whole situation just be brought to justice and what happened actually comes forth to the light. And again, prayers to his family. Everybody, prayers to this family. Update on the Trey situation. So basically,
and that's the only thing you really can do at times, is say prayers to the family and hope for the best. Well, that's not the only thing you can do. We can come together and try to demand answers, but Mississippi has such a rich history of racism and evil that it's not even funny. And again, like I said, if you're not watching, that's fine. I'm just kind of just talking at this point. So I kind of want to look up the history of Delta State University, right? And this is not the only unaliving of a black student they had there. And let's see here. Although segregation was ruled unconstitutional in 1954, Delta State College did not admit its first black student, Shirley Antoinette Washington, until 1967. So that means Miss Antoinette Washington is very well could be alive and a grandmother right now. It'd be interesting to hear her point of view from that. Ostracism and discrimination followed the integration. The university black student population was small, and the black students reported facing widespread ostracism and discrimination from both white students and faculty. Oral histories from former students recalled tense environment with mistreatment ranging from being called racial slurs and physical harassment. Segregation with integration. Despite official aim of segregation, racial division persists. Black students, for instance, were subject to living in a segregated dorm. Recall an unspoken rule that the cafeteria remains segregated. Let's see. Death of a student. In the late 1960s, a black student named James Kennedy died after reportedly being struck by a white student during a cafeteria fight. Accounts from former students state that Kennedy had a seizure and never fully recovered, with his death becoming a catalyst of increased student activism. That was in the 1960s. In 1969, in response to the years of the racial discrimination, the newly formed Black Student Organization BSO represented a list of 10 demands to the university administration in 1969. When the administration dismissed these demands, 52 students staged a peaceful sit-in at the president's office. And that's pretty interesting that, certain people are trying to get rid of protesting. We could protest peacefully and get things done. But, I guess you won't acknowledge that, right? Arrest and imprisonment. The university president, James M. Irwin, called the Mississippi Highway Patrol, who came with submachine guns and dolls. All 52 students were arrested and taken to the infamous Parchment State Penitentiary, where they were held overnight on death row for protesting. Jesus. See, I had no idea about this. And this is what I mean, that Black history is so in-depth and strong. It really does make you realize, if we fully knew our history, we wouldn't take most of the stuff we do. Community support. The Black community of Cleveland, and Cleveland is a city in Mississippi, by the way. This is where the college is at. Rallied to support the students in providing property bonds and securities of their release. Long-term impact. Though some demands like equitable grading were met and black faculty were eventually hired, the university never created a black history course or curriculum. Former students involved in sit-in produced a documentary in 2021, Voices from the Sit-in, to share this history. And then this going into the whole entire Reed's passing away. And this goes to more in the segregation thing there. But yeah, I just found that interesting that you just can, history is at the touch of your fingertips. I learned something new today. But anyways, you guys tell me what you think. Are you just as tired as I am? I'm sorry I don't have much energy on this. I'm exhausted. Like I said, I am mentally, emotionally, and spiritually exhausted. I hope more people talk about this. I hope more people dive deep into this. And I hope you all are taking care of yourself. Take a mental day. Enjoy yourself. Go fishing. Go for a walk. Get outside. Touch some grass. Do something to help your peace. If that means smoking, go smoke. Have a drink as long as you overdo it. Take care of yourself. Take care of the people that love you and yourself. And I hope you all have a great day. And also, take a minute to subscribe if you made it this far. Thank you.